you could do a lot of damage with the Death Note if you had it for the wrong purposes.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's weird, bro. Right? In real life, I feel like it'd be very hard to get caught if you had the Death Note.
You got to be pretty secretive with it. You can't
like
go telling your friends.
Who's going to assume that people are dying because somebody's writing their name in the notebook?
Oh, man.
In real life, who's going to assume that? You can literally just put the thing under your pillow every night, and no one's going to think anything of it.
What would be more deadlier to the world? If the Death Notes got into the wrong hands, or if Chapter Black got a worldwide viewing?
Yeah, that's tough. Like when you first said that to me, I sat there and thought about it, and I don't know, because at first I'm like, it's clearly the Death Note, but then when I said that, and you were like, no, the Chapter Black has this and that and that. Like I have someone I tell people all the time, I'm open about it, who has PTSD from like crime scenes, photos, all kinds of stuff I see at my job. It's pretty messed up, and I think the world has an idea of how bad humanity can be, even though we don't exactly see it, and some people are pretty much ignorant to it. I still think the world has an idea of how bad humans can be. Now, if the Death Note got into the wrong hands, it just depends on how they get the information. If you don't know the person doesn't know you, and they're in a different country, you're not committing any crimes or any high profile person, you're pretty much safe from the Death Note.
That's what
unless that person personally knows you.
Like, that's what I was thinking too. Like with the in the case of the Death Note, you have to be somewhat notorious. You have to be known, famous, something like that for you to be taken out. But if you're just a normal everyday person, you're pretty much safe. No one's gonna look to write your name in the Death Note. Like in the show, wasn't he just writing like famous criminals' names in there?
It started off with just all criminals that made the news, any articles he could find about any criminals around the world. Eventually, he started using it against people in his life that he felt like were a threat to his plans and his goals, and then it kind of got out of control. But Light is a genius, and very clever. So, he was like the perfect person to get the Death Note, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But I'd like we were saying, I think you're safe for the most part. But the thing that is worrisome about that, right, is that that person can go after the world leaders, governments, business people.
Yes,
and it can really wreck the world's economy.
Yes,
or it can. And it can flip the things. Like you could
a couple years ago start World War III,
possibly. Yeah. They released another Death Note series. Basically, it's just a manga. The kid got the Death Note wasn't like Light. He was a smart kid, but he wasn't like Light. And basically, he just made everybody in his city rich. He put the Death Note on because it's in the same universe, so people knew what the Death Note was at that point. They knew who Light Yagami was. It was years later, and basically he put it up for sale, and whatever country put the most money in can buy the Death Note. What happened was, I think he wrote a rule in there: if you touch a Death Note, something happened, you're going to die. And the U.S. president is the one that actually bid it and got it, and he actually never accepted it. So basically, that country had to pay like trillions of dollars for it. And then the boy that had the Death Note, basically everybody that lived in this country that was a certain age and had this bank account got basically all rich. But in real life, that would destroy the economy.
That would destroy a lot of things, to be honest with you. But like we said, you could use the Death Note to go after world leaders. You could if you're smart, you could figure out a way to blame it on another country or another country's military or something like that. Maybe it was like a secret op to take out one of these world leaders when it was just you using the Death Note to kill somebody, some type of politician, somewhere, somebody that works as a high ranking government official, you could do a lot of damage with the death note if you had it for the wrong purposes.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's weird, bro. Right? In real life, I feel like it'd be very hard to get caught if you had the death note.
You have to be pretty secretive with it. You can't
like
go telling your friends.
Who's going to assume that people are dying because somebody's writing their name in the notebook?
Oh, man.
In real life, who's going to assume that? You can literally just put the thing under your pillow every night, and no one's going to think anything of it.
That's true.
Unless you publicize yourself like Light did. Light he wanted people to know.
I got that death note.
Yeah, he wanted people to know he existed. And that kind of screwed him over. If he just kept being low key about it, it'd have been nearly impossible for anybody to figure out. Obviously, it's a TV show. They have plot devices, and L kind of figured it out. But there's no person like that in real life. Like I work with detectives, I work with the feds. There's no one is going to really figure out that all these people are passing away because of a notebook. Like,
it's almost impossible. You have to, like you said, if you're low key with it, if you're not trying to show off about it, all you have to do is just do your thing, kill who you want to kill, hide it under your bed, and call it a day.
Yeah, bro. And another thing you gotta avoid is like killing people around you that you know.
Yeah.
There's another thing, but yeah, if it fell into the wrong hands, it would be scary. But I feel like Chapter Black.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the case of Chapter Black.
It's people. I think people know how bad humanity can be, but the fact that you see it, the whole world would pretty much have PTSD.
Think about this. Chapter Black has some of the worst things that known to man, like Holocaust, slavery, my search history, World War I. Like this is Chapter Black is awful.
It's terrible. Like crime against children, crime against animals, like you said, slavery, all this stuff.
Yes,
that people really get to see. Think about even the days they were killing witches, hanging people.
You have proof.
It's evidence. Like this these are the worst things that humanity has ever done.
The worst crimes ever. Now you don't have to speculate. Now you have documented visual evidence, and you're about to show it to the whole planet. And that's going to sway a lot of political views. That's going to sway a lot of religious views. That's going to sway a lot of people in a bunch of different ways. And it's going to make them feel a certain type of, it's going to, like you said, cause a lot of post-traumatic stress. It's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, first off. Yeah, it's very damaging.
Yeah, like I said, the small things I've seen that people can do, dealing with people who commit crimes against children, dealing with people abuse, neglect, all kinds of stuff, dead bodies, all kinds, like that kind of stuff kind of messes with you. And you have the whole world go through that. It's kind of scary. I think it'll turn the world basically into the Purge, bro.
Oh, wow.
I think that will start happening. I think people would just stop caring.
It would just be a free for all.
Yeah, I think it'll be bad, like an apocalypse type shit, bro. Because when you put people in a terrible situation, the instincts start to kick in, right? Survival. Yeah. You watch shows such as the Walking Dead, The Last of Us, stuff like that. Like it has some truth to it, how people will react.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Chapter Black will be bad. The one thing though is because the Chapter Black is only a half of the story. Now, will we also show people the good things humanity have done as well?
Would we? I mean, we could. There's a lot of there's a lot of obviously there's a lot of instances where you see the shining light of humanity, but does the good outweigh the bad?
Honestly, I don't know. That's a good question. Because the bad is bad, bro.
That's terrible.
Slaves were a real thing.
Yeah.
And people were getting killed and kidnapped because they didn't have a certain kind of hair color or eye color. But like this shit is real, bro. Like that's crazy to think about. You know,
That's-
like
that's-
100 years ago, like we could have been slaves down there, like, or shit, 150 years is we're not too far removed from that shit, bro.
That's one argument I always bring, and you might whatever, but when everybody talks about like when certain people talk about slavery, they say, "Oh well, they were selling each other into slavery. The tribes were selling each other into slavery." Well, here's the thing, though: they were warring with the other tribes. Wouldn't you do everything you can to protect your family, your tribe?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you do everything in your power? And you get something out of it. You get whatever resources they give you out of it. But here's something else that it kind of was brought to light that I wasn't really thinking about. You have a whole planet, a whole world of people, and you chose one continent to get people from? Come on.
I think there were more. I don't want people to kill us in the comment section. There were more. I think there were more than just one continent, but still, I think people get the point. Yeah, it's dude. Chapter Black would be bad. I think, like we were saying at the beginning, I think Chapter Black may be worse just because the simple fact, even if the Death Note gets in the wrong hands, the odds of you being a victim of the Death Note are very slim if you're just a normal person and the person who has a Death Note isn't aware of you. Like if somebody in Japan or somebody in Europe gets the Death Note, I'm not going to be too worried about it.
You'll be fine.
Unless they watch our podcast and we say something they don't like.
I'm gonna get these guys first.
Yeah,
but they don't know our real names.
That's also true.
Yeah, they don't know our real names.
Good question. That is very true. Yeah, good point. Oh, yeah, bro. I don't know. I think Chapter Black would be worse if you only show Chapter Black to the world. I think it'd drive people crazy, and I think we would head to some sort of apocalypse.
Because people,
like you said, World War III.
People would see the truth. Well, not the truth, but they would, like you said, it's a one-sided argument. I think, honestly, some people would feel the same way that the team that Sensui assembled, they would feel the certain sense of like the world isn't worth, protecting. People in the planet are just, creatures of death and chaos and disease, and they just want to hurt each other. Like they're going to feel like no one in the world is worth protecting. So that's what Chapter Black was probably going to show them. But like we said, one-side argument. There's good in the world. You just got to look for it. Yeah,
and it's crazy. Just the worst crimes that ever committed, the worst things humans have ever done. It's crazy to think about. In my small time, working along with law enforcement. I'm not law enforcement. I work along with law enforcement. And the things that I see and know about people is scary, bro. And I'm paranoid. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody with my kids. None of that. But that's just a small percentage of a small area that I'm in. I couldn't imagine the entire world witnessing. And you cannot deny it anymore. What the worst things that humanity has ever done. And there's no denying it. You have video evidence. That is crazy to think about, bro. And it's really scary because humans are capable of some very, very, very dangerous things.
Literal torture. Yeah. Literal torture, enslavement, just murder. Yeah.
They taking people's lives and then taking their organs out. This stuff like that is wild, bro. Yeah. Hopefully, like, no one I know or no one I love are victims to that kind of stuff. Like, it's just crazy, bro. Or people going missing. Like, my wife loved, like, crime podcasts and, like, crime shows. And I sometimes I listen to it. I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with people? Like,
or cannibalism.
Yeah, just crazy, man. Yeah, so I think it's obvious. I think hands down, and some people might disagree, but I think showing the entire world Chapter Black, I think will be worse than somebody getting a hold of Death Note for reasons that we said.
Yeah, I will go ahead and jump on the same bandwagon. I'll say the death. Or wait, oh no, I said Chapter Black.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say Chapter Black because I feel like if you show it to the whole world, like it's gonna sway a lot of people's beliefs and opinions. Especially
and
the
world is already crazy, bro.
The rate that information travels these days, man.
Yeah, dude, the things I see on Reddit and Twitter is crazy.
Yeah,
like it's crazy, and I think a lot of people are ignorant. I think a lot of people are ignorant to the things that actually going on in the world because they're protected. You know, they don't have to know about it. But like I said, since I've worked with law enforcement, I realize how evil people really are, bro. Like, and how evil people can be, and how dangerous people can be.
Here's a good question though. If there was a worldwide viewing of Chapter Black, do you think there'd be a potential for the world to do better, to the people in the world to come together and want to do better and say, well, we can't let things like this ever happen again. Why don't we have a unified front? Why don't we come together, find some common ground, and try to figure out a plan in order to do better than the past world did?
I absolutely think that there's a chance. I think it's more likely that it goes the opposite way, though, because I think there are more people at the bottom than the top. The people at the top can protect themselves. You know, the people at the bottom, I think they realize that, you know, that there's a chance in life that they're never going to improve. They're going to be stuck in this position. And I think, like I said, I think that might turn into the purge, bro. Like, but obviously I think there's a chance, that, you know, it could change how people view things, because a lot of people deny some of the things that happen. A lot of people deny slavery. A lot of people deny the Holocaust. A lot of people those are two big ones, but there are things worse than that that have been done to this world. And a lot of people just act like it never happened. And just, you know, in order to move on for something, you got to understand it happened and why it happened and why it had to stop. Instead of just ignoring it and, you know, trying to move it forward, it gotta be some kind of understanding. But I absolutely think there is a possibility that I'll give it a 25% possibility that the world will improve from it. But I think it's a 75% chance that I think it's going the other way. I think it's going to be chaos, because humans are chaotic beings.
Yeah.
We're destructive.
We're violent by nature. I mean, there's going to be the chance, like you said, that it could go in the complete opposite way and just keep continuing the destruction and the chaos. Because there's some people that want the world to stay the way they don't want things to get better, even though there's opportunity and chances for things to get better. Some people just want to not necessarily feel miserable. They want bad things to keep happening. And I never really understood that type of mindset. Like, you could give someone enough opportunity, enough chances to better themselves, to do what needs to be done in order to come to somewhere where they could live their lives perfectly, live their lives in bliss and harmony. But they don't want to take that opportunity. It's kind of like the when you give someone from the hood an opportunity to make it out and they still want to live in that same mindset because, you know, oh, this is all I've ever known. Like, no, like you have better opportunities, you have better chances, but they just ignorant to those facts.
Yeah, bro. And it could go vice versa. You got people that been sheltered their whole lives or been entitled, you know, privileged their whole lives, and how would it impact them? Would they realize, like, damn, like the world is a messed up place, and maybe there's something I can do to help and change people's lives. So it all depends, bro. It all depends on how people view it. Do people just be like, okay, that's the past, we can move on? Or people be like, we are tired of being at the bottom, and we know the people at the top aren't going to help us. Mm-hmm. And, you know, maybe we could take it from them if they're not going to help us. So it all depends, bro. But overall, that's an excellent question. Very mind-boggling question. Is when you put it into perspective, I think it's clear that it's Chapter Black. But it's still it's a tough question, and I can't wait to see what people have to say.